All right, so boom. We're going to talk about the TPain saga, lineage, whatever you want to call it, right? All the TPain drama that happened with that GMG Automotive group. And you've heard it, everyone's opinions, and a lot of people taking sides of TPain, some people not taking sides of TPain. But as somebody that has not only been in the automotive field from a young age, I have been in the automotive field professionally for probably like 15 years. So, well, 15. Yeah, close to 15 years actually. So as someone that's been in the automotive field for a long time, I have seen both sides of, both people's stories. So I know it all too well. So I'll give you my little rundown on my little shits, and then, yeah, you can make up your own mind later on, baby.
Life is like a motherfucking dream. Fill my double cup up with some lean. Yeah, put my dick in your bitch plane. Yeah, rats.
Now that I think about it, I'm not even sure why I said TPain lineage. And lineage, we've been talking about, it's the internet drama, all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, if you haven't heard, which by now this is like a late video, so if you haven't heard about all the shit that happened with TPain and his drift car and all that shit, then you've been sleeping longer than me. You know what I'm saying? So, to make a long story as short as humanly possible, TPain basically started getting into drifting, and then he found a guy to the event. He said, "Hey man, I own this shop. I'm your guy. I'm doing all your shit." So boom, right? That's it. TPain decided that that's the guy he's gonna go with, and the saga continues. The rest of the history is there, right? So essentially, TPain had a S14 drift car, LS swapped, the typical. Now, nobody truly knows the condition of the engine swap. Was it done well? Was it done right? Now, TPain, I don't remember if he had driven that car ever at that point at all, but so no one knows the condition of the car, right? So it's easy to say, hey, I let you drive my car and you blew up my shit. You owe me this, that, and the third, whatever, right? It's easy to say that. It's easy to put blame. However, TPain's not a mechanic. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he knows any mechanic guys that are truly reputable. He knows people like Chelsea DeNofa and like, Hurt. You know what I'm saying? He knows like these people in the industry. But unless somebody like that or a real reputable shop, an actual reputable shop, has looked over the car, test driven it, understood it, get its background, you know what I mean? You have to always get a feel for a car, especially if you just buy it and somebody else put it together. You never know how they put it together, whatever the case may be, right? So we start with that. So we have that. So basically TPain buys this 240, it's LS swapped, it works, meets this guy who owns the shop, GMG Automotive or some shit like that. It's probably what it is, but don't quote me on that shit, right? So with that being said, basically the guy's like, oh, I'm your mechanic. Boom. TPain's like, yeah, we're cool. Now he's like, he's got a mechanic friend that owns a shop. So he's feeling good. TPain's feeling good on his end that he now has a place to go to get his vehicles worked on. Now on paper, that guy's done, exotic cars and whatever other types of cars. So on paper, he looks good as someone that's presenting himself. You know what I mean? Oh, I've done these exotics, Ferraris, Lambos, and all this shit, I'm saying? Whatever, boom, right? So he has a reputation, right? So it's easy to get swept up by seeing, oh, well, they do this work on all these cars, whatever. Again, TPain's not a mechanic. He's a regular fucking guy, just got into drifting, right? And regardless of how much money somebody has, that doesn't mean, it doesn't really mean anything. Some guys just got deeper pockets than others. That's all it is to it. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. I got a piece of wood over here. I'm sitting on a fucking creeper and shit. Hold up. I'm trying to get this piece of wood to stop my creeper from rolling and shit. You know what I mean? So anyways. So with that being said, basically TPain drops off his 240 to get worked on. So I think something happened to the car, whatever the case may be. So in the midst of the car being worked on, the guy goes, "Hey, TPain, can I use your vehicle for this drift thing coming up?" TPain, he's a nice guy. He says, "Yeah, sure, friend. Go ahead and take my car. Boom, do the gig." Basically, the guy takes the car to that fucking show where they wreck the shit out of cars because they're running from the cops or whatever bullshit it is. I didn't even watch that shit, right? I just watched a part where the dude basically destroys fucking TPain's car. Now, he melts the motor, destroys the chassis, all kinds of shit. Now, code, homie code, right, would be motherfucker owes you a whole car, right? However, there's the reality of things, right? This whole homie code thing doesn't exist because TPain is a customer. That guy is the owner of a business. So you have a customer and a business owner. Now, when you blur lines, it never fucking works. 95% of the time, there's that small little slim variance of when it actually does work. But it's hard to draw the line. You know what I mean? It's better to be, a customer that's paying for the product, paying for whatever the case may be. Now, again, I circle back to the fact that you don't know the condition of that swap, how well it actually ran. TPain doesn't know, that guy doesn't know, that guy just knows he's gonna take TPain's car and he's gonna give it no quarter on this show to try to be fucking cool. So basically this guy's trying to fucking stunt, get his little cloudy points up, driving TPain's car, beating the dog shit out of it. Now, by damaging the motor, that's kind of a shade of gray, right? If you let me drift your car at the track and it blows up while I'm driving it, right? And all day long you were driving it, you're like, "Oh man, my car's been working great. Here, try my car." And I drive it the same way you did, maybe harder, maybe not as hard, and it blows up while I'm using it. Whose fault? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say. So with that, it's as the guy that drove the car when it broke, you should lend a helping hand, right? However, you don't know that all day long that car's actually been fucking overheating constantly, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, or the oil line has a fucking leak in it for the turbo and now it fucking broke and it sprayed while you were driving the car and the whole car caught on fire, burnt to the fucking ground. As the guy who drove the car, even though that oil line broke, it's not your fault the oil line broke. Hate to break it to you, but it's really not. So again, condition of things is always one of those things. When you hand somebody the keys to your vehicle, you are not fully handing them responsibility, in my opinion, right? Now, as me, as the individual that I am, if you hand me the keys to your car, I'm gonna drift your car, but I'm not gonna fucking go balls to the walls because it's not my car. I do not want it to break under my using, right? Neither here nor there. It is what it is. So boom, right? So he lets homeboy fucking take the car. This guy getting his fucking chode salad up. He beats the shit out of the car, destroys the car. Now, if you're drifting and you waffle someone's fucking chassis, you have two options. You fix the chassis or you buy the motherfucker another car. That's just pretty much what it fucking comes down to, right? And you don't just, with like the homie code, like with me and the homies, like if I waffled my boy's G37 right now, right? He's like, "Here, man, here's the keys," and I fucking put that bitch backwards in a wall, I fold the car in half. What am I gonna do? Not only am I gonna buy my man another car, but I'm gonna help him swap everything from one car to the next to make sure he's right. You know what I'm saying? That's my error. Now, if I'm driving and the car blows up, that's a different fucking story, right? So anyways, so basically, guy kills the car, guy says, "Oh yeah, man, I'll fix your motor for you, and I'm only gonna charge you this much money." In TPain's mind, he let this guy borrow the car. The car was working when TPain had it, but now when this guy drives it, it's fucking damaged. Now, in the video, if you watch it, this guy beats the dog shit out of this car. So the scales at that point, in my opinion, tip more towards TPain's favor because if someone's gonna let you use their car, don't fucking go out there and kill it and give it no quarter. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the respect thing, right? But the guy didn't do that. He beat the shit out of it. No one knows the condition of all the parts and how everything's done, so he kills everything. Now that all said and done, the guy said, yeah, T-Pain, I'll charge you X amount of money. Boom, for the engine, I'll put a new motor in there, whatever the case may be. Boom, boom, boom. And the chassis, I'll get it straightened out. So at some point, the guy apparently puts another motor in there. He builds it. He's fucking Captain Engine Builder now. So he builds a motor, puts it in there, and I guess I think he used the car again, asked T-Pain to use the car again, and T-Pain said, sure, but I would like my car sooner than later, please, thank you. And I guess the guy apparently builds that car and melts that motor down too. I forget exactly what it is. Don't quote me. I watched the whole T-Pain thing. It's like an hour and a half long. I watched it like a couple months ago. So now that's engine 2 melted down again. Now, as the shop owner, he charged T-Pain to put an engine in there that they assembled. So at that point, responsibility is shifting, right? So at this point, responsibility shifts towards the shop owner now going, oh, well, I'm going to put an engine in there for you. Well, as the shop owner, if you are good at your craft, you are not going to take the whole car shit at face value. You're going to check over the fuel system, check over the, you're going to check things over at that point. You need to make sure that it has the right injectors, it's not leaning out, that there's proper fuel support, there's proper spark, there's proper everything else. So you don't go drop, 10, 15 grand on a fucking motor, drop it in the car and go, yeah, I'm gonna send it again. If you melt 2 fucking motors back to fucking back, there's an issue probably with the car somewhere or with something else potentially, right? Maybe he got a dud motor, very unlikely. Maybe the guy has no fucking idea what he's doing and he assembled this motor with just buying a bunch of parts, putting it together and being like, yeah, it fucking works. Because, that's old mentality for V8 shit. Just put it together, it fucking works, great. Let's go tear it up. You know what I mean? So anyways, basically he killed the car, and to make the longest story short, which I've already made too fucking long already, T-Pain has been trying to get his car back from the guy for a total of 2 years. In that 2-year period, the guy has straightened the chassis, has done a front end swap on it, had his girlfriend wrap the car, who doesn't know how to wrap cars, has all kinds of other shit. And in this process, it took T-Pain 2 years to get his car back in a condition that's unsatisfactory, on top of which T-Pain has spent a lot of money in that 2 years, which in T-Pain's mind he feels is an unjustified amount of money he spent for his result. Now, as a customer, it's easy to be dissatisfied with the service you have paid for. Now, again, where that line blurs of homie, guy's trying to be a friend. T-Pain thinks this guy's a friend. Obviously, this guy's not. This guy's not a mechanic. He's a fucking salesman that owns a company, right? So he's selling T-Pain the fucking dream. Yeah, man, I'm a great mechanic. I can do all your shit. Boom, you know what I'm saying? T-Pain thinking, okay, I'm going to trust this guy. T-Pain being I don't want to say T-Pain's naive, but in the automotive world, T-Pain's naive, right? He's lucky enough to have met higher figures in the industry, her, Chelsea DeNofa, guys like that, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, he receives his car. It's not great. He has receipts of how much money he spent to receive his car in that condition. Now, personally, if, let's just say, for example, T-Pain came to me and said, hey man, I want you to build me a car. I have this car and I want to put this engine in it and I want to do this body and I want to do these things to it. I would say, okay, if you want all of these things from you, I need $50,000, right? And to some people go, wow, 50 grand's a lot of money. To others go, 50 grand's really not a bad deal, right? And it all depends on what you're gonna get in return. Same thing like when you get a paint job for a car. When you go to a guy and you say, hey man, will you paint my car for $500? And he goes, yeah, I'll paint your car for $500. And your car looks like shit afterwards. Well, that's what $500 gets you. You take this same paint job to a guy, go, hey man, I have $5,000. And you have a beautiful car afterwards. Well, that's what $5,000 gets you, right? So T-Pain did spend money. He did buy, I think he bought that Boss kit or whatever, that front end swap, all that shit. that girl wrapped it for him. You know what I mean? So the girl's never wrapped a car before. Now she's wrapping T-Pain's car of all cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, not the best scenario in my opinion. Basically, T-Pain's a nice guy. Tries to give this guy chance after chance after chance of getting his car, having delays, and the guy basically putting his shit in the back burner. Meanwhile, the whole time, the guy has been trying to use T-Pain's name to further gain himself more business, more clout, which I don't like using the word clout. I want to say the word fame. He's trying to get more fame. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get more status. He's trying to get deals. He's trying to get other things off of T-Pain's name. You know what I'm saying? T-Pain finds this out later on, you know, down the road, whatever. So to make the story that I've already made long shorter, we have T-Pain, who's a nicer guy, who's giving somebody chance after chance after chance to make a situation that started off shit better. And the guy said, yeah, I need this much money from you. T-Pain's like, well, I'm going to pay you this money, but I want my car. Yeah, I'm going to get your car done 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And being somebody that has been on the other side, I understand you run into issues, you run into problems, and it's easy to have a deeper project car, such as that one, because you can call it not a deep project car, but you don't know, again, the original condition of the vehicle, right? So it's easy for anyone to say, oh, well, that's just an LS swap on a 240. Well, I mean, yeah, today's standards, yeah, an LS swap on a 240 is easy, but again, if it's a bunch of half-ass bullshit and you're having to deal with a lot of half-ass bullshit, it's your responsibility as the guy now rebuilding this individual's car, this customer's car, to say, hey man, you have a lot of bullshit on your car, we can take care of it. It's gonna cost you 10 grand more in parts and labor to fix your car, but when it's done, it'll be right. And as the customer, you decline that. From then on, you, as the owner or the builder of the vehicle, go, okay, you have declined all the warnings we have given you, so we're going to give you your ass result. It goes back to the same shit. Hey, customer, you have problems. I'm going to give you, you know, you want a $500 paint job, we'll give it to you, but in 3 months later, your paint's going to peel off your car anyways. Oh, no, I don't give a fuck. I just want my $500 paint job, and I'm going to stunt in the sunset. You know what I'm saying? Not saying T-Pain did that, but I'm just saying that there's two sides to how you present things. So if you've watched my video on, what's it called? If you watched my video about my little introduction where I interview myself in the mirror, the man in the mirror interview, you'll know that I have about 7.5 years experience in the performance automotive industry, and I have 7.5 years or so of really high-end restoration bodywork. So I have understood and been around the entire aspects of two different major things in the automotive industry. So combined, yeah, like I said, probably about 15 years. So yeah, for those of you adding that up, I've been in the game for a while. I'm a lot older than you guys probably watching this video. If you go CFRC days, you know what I'm saying, I was in my early to mid 20s, I think, in the CFRC days. So just, you know, keep that in mind, right? Boom. So the problem here is, right, you have T-Pain, who's a nice guy, who keeps giving GMG Automotive the chance to make right on the deal and to provide him with the service that he is looking for, end result. GMG Automotive isn't providing the service that he should be providing. And as the owner, right, that's who T-Pain is dealing with. He's got the owner of the company's name. They have text messages back and forth, boom, boom, boom. Hope all is well, you know what I'm saying? Nice text messages back and forth. He's, as the owner of all customers you could fucking have, you should be making sure you're doing T-Pain so right that you could lose money on it. Because why? A client like T-Pain is somebody worth, and that's at that point, that's more of an investment into your own company. But again, the guy's a salesman, not a fucking genius. So he kind of dicks T-Pain over, and to even admit him fucking T-Pain over, he even makes his apology statement afterwards. Also a bad move on his part as a shop owner. But I mean, you have to recover at some point somehow. And then of course people come out the woodworks, oh boom, yeah, that company, they fucked me over too, and then everyone's left and right with that bullshit, whatever. So if you're a nice guy and you notice the things you want to pay for on your car aren't getting done, take your car to that fucking shop. Take it to another shop that you can spend money on. Sometimes you do need to cut your losses, right? TPain's trying to give this guy a chance because he likes the guy. The guy's probably charismatic. The guy's probably selling the fucking dream constantly. And then that's where you end up. You know, the salesman takes advantage of the nice guy. That happens, right? And that's where mechanic shops and body shops get a bad rep for essentially, like, that's where they get a really bad rep for, what's it called? You know, like service, like, right? Like, if I do an LS swap for you and I say, hey man, to do your LS swap proper, I'm gonna get the engine for you, I'm gonna get all the parts you need, and it's gonna cost you, you know, $8,000 in labor and $10,000 in engine plus parts, engine and all your parts. So for 18 grand, you're gonna get a 400 horsepower LS that runs and drives turnkey, zero issues, in and out, done, the game's over, boom. And you go, nah, yo, I can do it myself. I fucking YouTubed it. I'm the fucking man. I got my own motor. I have my own this. I have my own that. And that's fine. Some shops, I used to do it. I used to install people's own shit. We would charge you more money to install your own shit. Why? Because we know you're going to break it. You're providing us with fucking trash half the time. And you're missing parts you're going to need. It's the fucking bottom line. Everyone thinks they know, but I've been doing this for a long fucking time, and I can assure you, things get skewed so easily. In the paint world, it's, oh yeah, man, I paid $2 grand for this paint job. It looks like this. It's like, well, $2 grand is really not a lot of money. I hate to break it to you, especially not motherfucking today, 2022, right? 2020, well, I mean, it's about to be 23 because this is like a few days after, it's like day after Christmas or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like, you get what you pay for. $2 grand for a paint job ain't shit. Motherfucker, it costs the guy that's gonna paint your car $1,000 in materials alone. You think paint's cheap? Go to the paint store and fucking buy it. Then you go, oh, I don't wanna spend $1,000 on paint. So what do? You find that cheap ass bullshit paint that's similar to the real paint, but not, right? So then you bring this guy this fucking $200 fucking paint kit. So you get base and clear with all the shit you need for $200 fucking dollars. That's trash paint. Sorry to say it. It's not that you can't make it look good. It's just trash, right? And you bring it to the painter and say, hey man, use this paint. He goes, all right, well, it's $1,000 in labor and I'll get it sprayed up. Yo, $1,000 in labor to spray a car? That's fucking cheap. You don't even know what it takes to make a car look good, to make a car look nice, how much work is truly involved to get a vehicle the result you want, right? The result you want is 5 to 10 grand. The result you're affording is, you know, 1,000 to 2,000. You see what I'm saying? So if your budget's down here, your expectations need to be here, right? So when you get that paint job and you go, wow, man, it's shiny, overall looks okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but that's what it is. That's an expectation. But if you're expecting a $10 million paint job for $500, sorry, man, you're the problem. That's all there is to it, right? So, I know I've been rambling and shit, my bad. With the whole TPain shit, basically TPain kind of became an enabler, right? He's a nice guy. He wants to believe in the guy selling him the fucking dream. And he keeps funding him money. Hey man, you're gonna get my car done, right? If I give you this 10 grand, yes, I'm gonna get your car done. Okay, then the car doesn't get done. In those scenarios too, what also happens is that the shop has a project that starts and stops. When you have a project that starts and stops, given TPain's been paying the guy the full amount each time to get the car done, 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 and the car doesn't get done. The car just keeps progressing forward into a not getting done state, right? And that's a tactic some shops shitty shops use to drag more money out of customers. Not great, but it is what it is. That's the world we live in today. Automotive's not the only thing. It goes with anything. You know what I'm saying? Guys do your roof or do a wall in your house, that type of shit, concrete in the ground, whatever the case may be, right? So when you have a project that starts and stops, when you are working on the project, you are actively involved. Typically, you have a list available of all the things the car needs and needs to get done, right? And hopefully done right. There's the shops that will just get your car done so it drives. It's not the best thing in the world, but again, if you pay for the $500 paint job, you get the $500 paint job. You know what I mean? Some guys will bust their ass for your $500 paint job. Some guys won't. The guys that won't know their time is worth money, right? So when you stop a project, especially one that's, I don't want to say TPain's project was a big project, but it was a project nonetheless. And I know that there could have been some shit, whatever the case may be. As soon as you stop a project, you then take your mind off of where you stopped, what you were doing, and where you were, right? Even though you have your checklist, which helps you jump back into it easier, right? You have a harder time getting back into it. When you're constantly working on the project, you're knowing the ins and outs of it. Okay, well there's this. I started doing the wiring here, and out of the 40 wires I have to wire, I've got 15 done, and 15 wires only has me headlights and taillights right now, but I don't have blinkers yet, so the lighting's not done yet, or this is not done yet, that's not done yet, right? So he stops. Okay, I have 15 out of the 40 wires done. When you stop working on the car, because you have to run a shop, so you still have to work on other vehicles to get money rolling in. You have to keep your doors open. Otherwise, if you don't keep your doors open, you're not going to get paid. Your mechanics don't get paid. There's no shop. That's just how it fucking works. That's the reality of things too. So the guy goes, hey man, I got money again. Oh shit, okay, you got money again. Another $5,000. All right, let's get back to working on the car. You eat time, which is labor, in figuring out where you were. You can lose a day's time just to try to figure out where you were from 2 months ago. Okay, 2 months ago, 2 months ago I was working on the car, and let's see, I stopped doing wiring. Okay, now wiring going. How far did I get in the wiring? Oh man, that was 2 months ago. I don't remember where I stopped in the wiring, right? You don't know if you did this, you did that, and you have your list, which helps you. You know what I mean? So there's so many different aspects to these things, right? So nothing is black and white. Oh, that guy fucked TPain, or you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. In black and white terms, the guy did TPain dirty. It is what it is, right? It's unfortunate. It's not a common practice because shops like to keep their doors open. Nobody wants to get sued. You know what I'm saying? Typically, when you go into business to make money, not get sued, not to lose money. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to make money. They want to be owners. They want to do their thing, right? So, yeah, no one's getting into business to lose money. So typically business owners want to have good reputations so they can continue to get more business in the future. That's how business kind of works, obviously. No shit, right? So it's not TPain's fault that he doesn't understand when you start and stop projects what happens. It's also not his fucking problem, right? It's the shop's problem. So, and I've experienced it professionally, not only in the mechanic world doing cars like this, but in the body world too. We get very, very big, long, involved processes where a car takes 2.5 years to do a full restoration on a classic car. That's frame off restoration, that type of shit. It takes 2 to 2.5 years, right? So you as the client have to be patient. You are spending a lot of money, right? What kind of money are we talking here? We're talking deep in the 6 figures without a fucking question, right? Like your bill starts at $250,000, essentially, right? When you're doing the restoration types that I was doing before. So that's the same thing. If you have a client's car and they go, okay, well, to start from you, client, we need $80,000, and 80 grand is going to get you work for the next 3 months on your vehicle, nonstop work. They go, okay, boom. So they drop off the 80 grand deposit and the work starts. The car starts to get taken apart. They start to assess more of the things, you know what I'm saying? So they work on the car, you work on the car, you get it all stripped down and go, okay, now you got the car to this point, which just takes a few months to get the car stripped, assess everything. you have to, all the parts you take off the car in a classic car, a lot of times you cannot buy these parts again, right? So you bag all the parts, you label them. That takes a lot of time, takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort. You as the customer have no idea that's what happens, right? But the guy that has to do the work on the other side knows, okay, I got to strip this car, have to label all the bolts, every single bolt that comes out of the car, I need to have labeled, I need to have this, I need to have that, I need to have it all organized, so when we go to put the car back together, we can send the bumpers and all the trim out for getting chromed, and we can do, you know, all we got to do is brand new these bolts and zinc plate, and we have to get this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be. It's anything you can get brand new, you get those brand new. Say, hey customer, we can shine your old shit up, or we can buy you new shit that'll still work or works. That's for the car. And a customer, you know, like your bill can go from, you know, $250,000 to, you know, $350,000, $400,000 bill at the end of the day, right? Over a 2.5 year period. So again, drop your car off, 80 G's, boom, get your car set up. And once you get to the 3-month mark, they go, okay, customer, we need 50 G's from you again to keep progressing forward. Now we're going to start the restoration process, right? So then boom, your car gets worked on more and more and more. Now sometimes they go, I don't have 50 grand right now, so you guys are gonna have to wait. Well, in the customer's mind, his car is still getting worked on. Well, your car's not getting worked on because you're not paying for it to get worked on. So what happens? Your car stops and gets moved off in the corner because other paying jobs are rolling in. Again, that's what business is. Paying jobs get first, right? So he goes, 2 months later, 2 months after his 3-month deadline, he comes back. He goes, oh, hey, man, I have that 50 grand again. All right, well, we'll start your car back up again, sir. No problem. Again, you stop a project, you go back. Okay, where did we last leave off? Okay, we last left off here. We started doing the frame and some of the control arms. Okay, well, how many control arms did we get done? Did we get them all done? No, we actually only got like 2/3 of the control arms done, and we need to do the rest of them, and now this and that. But it still takes time, it still takes labor, it still takes everything else. You know what I mean? So nothing is black and white. Nothing's as easy as it seems. You know what I mean? Everything takes work, everything takes time, but things take understanding from not only the customer side, but from the, you know, production side, right? As the owner of the business, again, it is hard to tell the customer, that would probably be you, hey man, if we stop your car, it's gonna get pushed off in the back. It takes more money. Anytime you stop projects, it always takes more money. Always, 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 right? TPain doesn't know that. You know what I'm saying? That guy probably does know that if he's done multiple projects. Some guys have these shops and haven't done big projects like that. So he doesn't know, and he goes, oh, hey man, I gotta charge you money. Hey man, I gotta charge you money. Hey man, I gotta charge you money. You know what I mean? But the relationship those two had is TPain thinks this guy's a buddy now, right? So, oh yeah, man, my buddy's gonna take care of me. My buddy's gonna take care of me. You know what I'm saying? If that guy wasn't a fucking salesman idiot, that guy would have took care of TPain and lost money on the deal, taking care of shit for him just to maintain his business and do him right. You know what I mean? So, and again, it's difficult because, you know, you have guys that just are greedy and want money, or they want fame, whatever the case may be, so they do whatever they can to get to those things, right? But, you know, to try to kind of sum everything up, both companies are at fault. TPain is at fault, that guy's at fault. And I don't blame TPain fully, because from what you see, social media and everything else, TPain seems to be a genuinely nice person. You know what I mean? But something probably should have struck a chord with him, going, man, all this work being done to my car, but there's no contracts, right? When you drop your car off to a mechanic gives you a written quote for the job. Mechanic, by law, the job can't pass a X amount percentage, I think is a percentage, right? So if I say, oh yeah, man, to change the wheels on your car and your hubs, because your hubs are broken and your wheel studs are broken and your lug nuts are stuck on your car, I gotta charge you this much money. It's gonna cost you $500 for me to do this job, right? Then as the guy finds out while you're in there, oh shit, you also have this wrong, and this wrong, that's gonna be $1,000, right? So as the mechanic, when you do your labor to inspect the vehicle, to give a job a quote, or even a body guy, right? There are sometimes you find surprises. I'm sorry to tell you, but a lot of times your car is probably a piece of shit too. Sorry to tell you, you know what I mean? Some cars look nice on the outside, but underneath they're just fucking absolute nightmares. It happens, right? And it's not often cars just go smooth. That's the nature of cars. Shit gets used, people jump fucking curbs, you don't know things are bent, you don't know things are broken. And you as the guy that owns the vehicle, you maybe don't know that much about cars. And you don't know. So you think, oh, my car's perfect. It runs, it drives, it goes. And then the mechanic gets it, goes, yo, your car is kind of rough, my guy. What do you mean? This car's got 20,000 miles. It's mint. Well, it's mint, but it's been jumped over curbs and taken off fucking road for the last fucking 10 of those, 20,000 miles, right? So you never know what you're going to get. So, TPain being somebody in the music industry, you should understand contracts more than anybody. So typically, by him having his car worked on, getting these quotes, there should be written quotes, written estimates for the completion of the job, right? Hey, this job's going to cost this much money. Again, it's hard to do. It's harder to do that when you have a job that is custom, right? It's not cut and dry. Oh, take the bearing off. Where's the shit at? Take the bearing off, do a brake rotor and a caliper on that side, and you put new ones on there, and in and out, boom, $500, call it a day, boom, right? You find out, oh man, the reason this is bad is because the fucking control arm's bent, and it's been pressing the bearing wrong this whole time, and that's why your shit's all crazy, and that's why your alignment's so fucking weird, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's always something, right? So, unfortunately for TPain, he did get fucked over, and it's partially his fault, but not entirely his fault. It's not his fault for being ignorant in the ways of cars. He is a guy that enjoys cars. He's a guy that likes cars. He is not a mechanic. He has not been submerged in the car world heavily and has like the ultimate car passion to make sure his cars are fucking sick and he works on them. As somebody that has status and money, right? I'm not saying TPain's rich, and it doesn't matter how much money he has. He can go, okay, well, I want a 56 Cadillac and I want it bagged on the ground on 24s, and I want a sick paint job, and I want a nice interior, and I want a good sound system. How much? 80 grand. Sick. Drops his car off, takes it and leaves it again. Now, right? So he pays for the product and he's off in the streets enjoying his car. He doesn't know all the work and all the labor involved of when they bagged the car, where they had to do control arms now, because when you drop the car that low, all of a sudden the wheels are cambered super heavy and you want to drive the car low, so you got to modify this and do that. He might not know all those things, right? He's TPain. He's a car guy. He enjoys his cars being modified. He enjoys cars looking cool. He enjoys the cars, but he doesn't truly understand the full workings, the inner and outer of cars, right? That's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be an automotive enthusiast and know everything about cars. You really just don't. That's all there is to it. It's different for guys like me and like the lifestyle like a lot of us in We Drift live, because we live and breathe cars first. You know what I'm saying? If I have to go, okay, well, I got to eat ramen this month, all month long, to make sure I can buy these parts for my car, I promise you I'm going to eat shit all month long. That's just me, right? Well, if you're in We Drift, that's a lot of our mentality. We live and breathe cars first. I don't know. That's just a lifestyle for us, right? But there's nothing wrong with enjoying cars in general. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate the shop took advantage of TPain and didn't do TPain in the best way. He didn't do him right. So, it's just unfortunate, that whole scenario. And then TPain, airing them out on social media. If you haven't seen it, it's like an 1.5-hour video, or hour and 50-minute video. I don't know. It's a long video of him going through all the experiences he had. And I watched that video, and you're getting the perspective of just TPain. And again, somebody that's been in the industry for a long time, I understand both sides, right? And again, as I've explained before, you see as the consumer, which is TPain, the customer, right? He goes, oh man, I paid for this and I didn't get this. Well, every time you start and stop projects and everything, you keep going through all the bullshit, those are things the customer doesn't understand. So, and that's always a very difficult road, slippery slope to be on, always, 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 as the shop. That's why shops will turn you down, right? You bring your project car in there, and that shop goes, nah, man, I don't want nothing to do with your shit. And it's nothing against you. They just know you don't have the money that needs to be supported maybe to do it correctly or do it the way they want to build it, right? If you're bringing it to a shop, usually they're reputable, and you go, okay, hey, can you build me this race car I'm asking for? And they go, yeah, it's no problem, 50K. You know what I mean? You go, oh, 50K, right? You bring it to some other shop that's cheaper, and they go, yeah, man, we'll do your whole car for you for 10 grand. Oh shit, okay, I'll bring it to these guys, only 10 grand. But then you get a $10,000 job versus the $50,000 job that you're supposed to get. So you have a $50,000 expectation, but you paid $10,000, right? We go back to that same shit again. So I'm not blaming TPain. He's not, again, you know, he's not in the automotive world like that, whereas that guy is in the automotive world. He sees it every day. He has mechanics. They work on cars. He knows what the fucking deal is, right? But, you know, it just comes down to, it's unfortunate you can't really mix business with friends like that, right? So TPain thought he had a friend. No, what he got was a salesman. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate for TPain. And I can assure you, any fucking major shop would love to have TPain's business. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would love to have that shit. So that guy fucked up. He's an idiot. He's a salesman. There's a good chance that that business may go under unless he renames it, rebrands it, and does so much extra shit so people don't know it's him behind the fucking business again. You know what I'm saying? So basically, you see where I stand with that. Nothing is black and white, you know what I'm saying? So yes, I do side with TPain, but TPain was never 100% innocent, and it's not his own fault, right? So TPain, I know you're never gonna see his video, but just understand, ain't no hard feelings on this side, but I understand all sides of the aspects typically, right? And I understand that I left out a lot of things about the other little things that happened between them two back and forth. TPain had other cars worked on by his shop that never got done, also got delayed, also bullshit, more of the same kind of bullshit. I'm just keeping it to related more towards the S15 specifically. I mean the S14 specifically in this case. So let me get my ass cheeks together here, okay. So yeah, I'm just sticking to just the S14 in this case, right? So if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate that shit. Got more videos to come out. It's cold in Florida. I'm on a little mini vacation right now, so I'm doing some random shit, and we gonna get some things popping. But if you made it this far, it's tight. It means you're probably fucking bored. Hopefully my video doesn't bore you. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you as a person watching my shit goes, okay, I never thought of it that way, or nah, fuck all that. It shouldn't be like that. Well, you know, things shouldn't be the way they are, but sometimes it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Boom. So I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I read them shits always. I always check them, always hit people back. I don't know if YouTube has a thing where if you comment back to me, it notifies me. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I got no fucking idea. So it be what it is. So thank you for watching, and motherfucker like me out, little baby.